What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about limp wristing. Now, limp wristing is something I see all the time on YouTube, all the time on the internet, and I've also seen a lot of videos where their firearm is malfunctioning, but yet they blame the firearm. They don't blame their grip on the firearm. They don't blame how they're shooting. They simply put the blame on the firearm, which basically isn't fair. So basically, with any of these semi-automatic striker-fired pistols, limp wristing can be an issue. And the reason for that is, in order for your firearm to fully cycle, obviously you need your shell to eject, but you also need that other firearm to feed properly. And what limp wristing is basically, I'll show you right here, someone's shooting, and a lot of times what I see is they have a bad grip on the firearm. Some people are even shooting their striker-fired pistols like this, therefore having a hard time fighting the recoil, or it's going to be with calibers that are a little higher than a 9 and they're smaller, like a smaller firearm with a higher caliber. Also, I see a lot of people grab their trigger guard right here, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically what's happening is they're having a hard time with the recoil. So if limp wrist, their wrist is basically just letting the firearm go back like this instead of holding it steady, where you might get a little muzzle rise, a low muzzle flip, but that slide can still go all the way back and come back. Now, when you're limp wristing it and your firearm goes like this, that shell has a much harder time getting out. So picture the slide going back while that shell is trying to eject and your hand's going like this, basically. So what often happens is you have a failure to feed that new round, or you have a failure to eject where that shell stovepipes right out the top of your firearm. And that's actually what I see a lot on YouTube. They'll sit there and say, oh, the Taurus G3C, it's a terrible firearm. But they're sitting there going like this with one hand, and their firearm's all over the place. Or you'll see someone, mag dump with a Glock 23, but it jammed with an OEM mag. Well, yes, it jammed. When your hand is going like this and your gun is going all over the place in a dangerous manner and you're not hitting anything, yes, it's going to jam. That's, a pistol is meant to be held and fight that recoil, and you're supposed to be training with these things, not just going to a field and not aiming at anything and going all over the place. Yeah, it's fun to mag dump and stuff, but mag dump onto a target and don't pull that trigger unless you're on that target. Anyway, so I just hate to see when people keep blaming the firearm when, in fact, they are not holding their pistol properly and they're just not able to fight the recoil properly. And that causes jams. You can have a perfectly reliable firearm and induce malfunctions. It's just what it is. I often see people ride this their slide stop, and then they'll blame shield arm mags. But when you watch when they are handling recoil, their thumb, boop, locks the slide back, boop, after each shot. And they're like, oh, shield arm mags are unreliable. I'm like, wait a minute. They show it in slow-mo, and your thumb is going like this every time and knocking up that slide stop. What did you expect to happen? So it's stuff like that I see. So just want to talk about it just so we can, if that is happening with you, you might be able to say, hey, it's not the firearm. Maybe I just need to work on my grip, get comfortable, and find a new way to handle recoil. Thanks for watching.